Hey, thank you guys for tuning in. This video is about the frequency of sound and the healing properties frequency can bring upon Earth and the frequency of symbols and spiritual symbols and things of that nature that actually can influence your spiritual and frequency shift. So let's begin. All right. So all around the world, there's controversy against the religious and the conscious community, and there are a lot of people at this day and age who, excuse me, guys, got a cold, but who are researching their history and things of that nature. Now, what you guys need to know, there are definitely like freaking UFOs out there making crop circles. They're disabling freaking nuclear war vessels around the freaking world. You can look this up right now on your YouTube or Google. Their machines being disabled around the world due to the freaking UFOs coming around disabling them. And their crop circles that are being put on this earth from sound frequency, and they're basically here to heal the earth and give healing properties to the earth. So that's one way for you to know how strong frequency is on the healing level with your mental that's helping us because we don't have the technology built here for ourselves at this day and age to do so because we are such in a position of lack of education and resources, which the resources are there, but we don't have any access to them how it should be done in the first place. We're running off of biochemical means. So which was stolen information from our people, but it's being used and tarnished in such a horrible negative way and not in a solar condensing or nourishing way whatsoever, and it's not replenishing to ourselves or this earth. So what has happened is extraterrestrials have taken it upon themselves, possibly our ancestors or another extraterrestrial force, and they're healing our earth for us and trying to stop the mayhem that's at hand. But with the craziness of the people and our leaders that are in command, they're making it very hard for the outside helping hand. I mean, it's just so much ruckus and chaos, but there is help out there that's trying to sustain some type of longevity to this planet. And this is like basically why they're using sound frequency to heal the earth because taking all these resources and damaging the air is really just sending us on a very negative frequency. When something is dirty and cluttered, it brings upon negative energy. When you're killing something, there's dirtiness in there and things you bring upon negative frequency. So understand like the killing of this planet is bringing upon a negative frequency and we have to uplift our frequency and do better with the planet so we can just strive for the best overall. It's going to be a battle when our planet is total chaos and being destroyed due to our silliness and negligence of, our resources and the blessings that we have from this planet and nourishing fruit of the planet and things that are naturally here to help sustain us and sustain this planet. So, we haven't been taking care of it as we should or educating ourselves as a whole, as a mass, in the proper way and education to really help out the planet ourselves and our spiritual realm. So that's why we're receiving so much controversial, issues. Animals are dying out the sky, fish are dying out of nowhere because this planet is very, 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 very thick. Awesome. With the attempt to calcify the pineal gland through the water because they're putting fluoride in our water, which is also in toothpaste. They have a strictness to calcify our pineal gland, which is the gateway to your soul. So I want everyone to understand how major this is. And there are actually chemicals in the water that are turning the male generation to homosexuals also. These are just things that, are topics you all should just stay on top of and always make sure you're aware of the things one. Chemicals in the water turn men homosexual. You know what I mean? Like they're altering your brain. Speak out. We gotta fight this stuff. There's a bunch of corrupt people in the system and they don't want anything more than to corrupt the mind the soul and the spirit in this earth, so that they can keep, living on this realm, and then the reptilian race control everything among the masses, and then these little minority groups of a bloodline rule the world continuously, and they must be stopped. These people shouldn't keep being able to reign, on any of us and keep up this negative input in our lives. So we have to make sure that we're ready to do what's necessary to ensure the longevity of us all as a whole in this planet. So hopefully that can be done with everyone working together and things like that. But also, moving along with the healing process of signs, you can put symbols on your body that have a healing property and things like that. Also, like the eye of Horus, that is just basically all seeing eyes. So you're giving yourself a stamp of protection. It opens portals and gateways and things of that nature. And getting a spiritual tattoo or a tribal tattoo is definitely a smart way to go. I recommend it. I honestly didn't recommend tattoos because I'm afraid of needles myself, and I was raised in the church and told it was wrong. But there's nothing wrong with a spiritual protective tattoo, especially one that is of the Most High, and that's protection. It has very much so a lot of spiritual and spiritual properties that can really help you and sync into this world and sync to the next world and sync on a frequency that isn't necessarily always seen but can be heard, not necessarily always heard but can be seen, and not necessarily seen always heard but it's also felt or in your mental mindset of common sense and your thinking abilities and how you break down things and put them together and your mathematics and the way you configure up things. So the computer in your head also is a way of communication. Even though you're not communicating, you're still communicating with the universe, even when you're not making any sound or noise. But basically, having these symbols and crop circles is healing our earth, restoring its property, and also healing your body. So, getting a spiritual symbol is definitely a great way to go. You can get the Eye of Horus, the Ankh, and many other symbols that definitely show your pride and your growth into this spiritual realm and walk of life. Period. Just always protect yourself, and if you want something protective, get one of those tattoos and make sure you do nothing but try to be righteous, because you don't want to open up a negative aspect of what you may get tatted on you. You have to be careful what you get tatted on you, because you may get something that may be for a demon tatted on your body and you don't know that you tatted that on you. So also be careful with that as well. Be very aware what things you're putting on your body, because some things have like a negative frequency and can bring upon negative entities in your life if you're not careful with what you put on your body. So always remember that. Also, back to the extraterrestrials who are out there helping us and trying to keep an eye out on us, things like that. It's last time, but we definitely need to make sure that we're not going down and being annihilated before we can see the truth. We're either gonna see the truth in death or in life. So I just pray that we all can make that spiritual and physical evolutionary shift while we're presently in our light bodies before we go and elevate into our spiritual body. With that being said, I just want to drop that video for you guys really quick to explain to you basically the healing properties and basically the portals that frequency can open. So sound frequency can actually open up a portal itself. Um, Also, the types of music you listen to and things like that can elevate your spiritual mind or lower your spiritual mind into where you're just in the vessel, worshiping the vessel. A lot of music nowadays is worshiping the vessel, so you very much so aren't necessarily in the spiritual sense of mind, but in a physical sense of mind. And we really need to understand the spiritual controls the physical. So walk in the spiritual and stop dancing around like hooligans in the physical, if you get what I mean. Nothing wrong with enjoying your life and stepping to music, because that's a frequency, successful and things of that nature, and be righteous with our minds and our bodies, and everything will flow as it should in a non-lustful, or we wouldn't get such results back and feedback back that we wouldn't want due to being not in our righteous state of mind and state of thinking, so we project things that we really don't want to take or really live with the intake of what those type of things bring upon us. So if you struggle with this, getting a spiritual tattoo may be a great way to go for you, or just reading more up on your spiritual side of and tune in, know your spiritual side of self more, because you should know that first. And that's something that we should be taught in childhood, but we are pulled far, far away from our own teaching, so we have to do that on our own time. Or if our family members here to do that with us and enlighten us and enlighten the children, then the children will be more and more susceptible to this knowledge and begin the transitioning of letting it flourish through our communities more fluently, and through a greater variety of people, reaching a greater number and greater masses, subconsciously and economically. That's going to create a great onset of vibrations and frequencies that can overtake this planet into a positive shift. So the more and more we put out these teachings and teach our children and reflect back to each other with respect and honesty and understand that we all come from the same cosmic concept of life, and we all vibrate differently, because we all have our own pool, if you will, if you understand what I'm saying. We all have our own sense of spirit. And with this sense of spirit is where you can create that spiritual dimension for yourself. You can be a creator or you can fall under the creator. So the best thing for you to do is to always realize the power within yourself and start creating that spiritual balance for yourself, and pray and ask to actually be able to achieve and be worthy enough for that, or actually to be worthy enough to ever elevate to the next realm, so that next time in the next step you can continue to grow and get there, and we can create more and more dynasties to fight against this reptilian negative and any other negative energy out there in that solar system that's trying to beat down the melanated being in any dimension. We have to be strong in all dimensions because we matter in every dimension. And we have people that care about us that are in a higher dimension than us, even though we're in this dimension. We have to care about ourselves because it's going to take for us to boost ourselves to reach that higher dimension, to be able to reach the ones who are trying to reach us on the spiritual plane and elevate us and keep us lifted and keep the flow of God and righteousness in our consciousness and in our hearts, and keep us elevated and keep this knowledge circulating amongst the planet that we're using, even though we don't even know we're using it. We're using some form, shape of technology or ingrown intelligence that was implanted into a book a whole nother way and used for something that's dumbed down to really influence and help out the mass production of what we've been in cycles to continue to build upon and live in and help make grow. So you have to understand it's all a systematic system of chaos. And breaking away from that chaos and going to the source is what we're basically trying to do. And as a group and a whole and family, we have to keep doing that more and never letting our guards down to fall under the waistline of a problematic system that basically tells us you weren't strong enough, you deserve to be there, you didn't try. And that's not a righteous way of thinking, being. Like I said, if you're not spiritually in sync with God or the Most High, and you are spiritually dead to others and their feelings and care, then you are spiritually dead on the inside. And you need to enlighten your vibration so you can be on a more love frequency, or more healing frequency, or more vibrating light frequency or energy, that you receive light and spiritual, you know, praise and blessings and uplifting and enlightenment. How can you ever enlighten yourself or grow or elevate if you're speaking in low or thinking in low vibrations, and you have no type of spiritual sanctuary in your heart? You can't do anything spiritually gratifying without wanting something soulfully helpful and unspiritual in your life. You can spiritually succeed when you want something so soul egotistically filling in your soul, and you think that's going to help you get to the next step, but it's really going to be the spiritual teachings that we already basically have implanted in our hearts and minds to help us elevate to the next step. You already have the basis spirituality, which is God in the one sense. But the only thing you need to understand, we don't need a preacher or anyone else in that boat. You are born with the God-given intelligence and right and mental frequency to communicate with God by yourself. It's your birthright. You wouldn't be here on this earth, on this plane, or this frequency, period, if you didn't have the capability to communicate with God and God be able to shed some type of vibrant frequency in your life that creates a shift so that you can maneuver through this stupid ass matrix that we're being forced to live in and stay in a poverty state, in a lower self egotistical state as an African American or melanated person. The basis is we are the children of the sun, and our ancestors are the ones who gave us this birthright. So what we need to do more is understand, like in Africa, the Egyptians had toilets and plumbing systems. We need to be a lot more educated and to know that they had opiums and things of that nature, as such as like a civilization that's already operating, and you need to really see who stole what from who. Our teachings, our way of living was already stolen. We had soaps and everything else. In Europe, they were underdeveloped. We have black people over there teaching them in Europe. We have black people teaching people everywhere. But the misconception and jealousy of having a black person as a spiritual deity, such as the Anunnaki, and spiritually having respect for a black woman and a black man being spiritually in a position of a warrior and looked at as a creation from God, which was the womb of a woman where our creation is made, and them understanding that the higher authority, the higher beings that came to this planet, that come to check on us, that we descended from, can come here at any point on this earth and change up this gravitational bullshit that's going on. If they wanted to wipe us out tomorrow, then God has that right. When they talk about the Nephilian giants in the Bible, they're talking about the Nephilian giants that existed when Native Americans were here before they got wiped out. If you want to check on Native American history, the Anunnaki Native Americans fought the Nephilian giants. You can go research that if you want also. This is in also the Christian Bible. So we need to understand a lot of shit that takes place in science fiction or the Bible. This stuff actually took place in different time periods. And while we're in this time period of egotistical insanity and stupidity, we need to also there's a higher calling and a higher uprise for people to do better at all times. And in every freaking situation, there's a time to use your brain past what you were told your brain should be used for. There's a time to want to have a growth, a spiritual growth, and want to have spiritual evolutions where you're going to mentally tell yourself to go out there and search and look up the shit I'm talking about, or look up shit that resonates with frequency, love frequency. There's also a satanic frequency that they use to this day. The Illuminati uses it and puts it in our music to put us at a in cognitive space. So we're more egotistical and worshiping our bodies than our minds and our mental connection that we've been given through God to the source, from the source, excuse me. So when you really think about how they're telling us, oh, melanin is a form of intelligence, how white people and all these other people have animal DNA, melanin, like they have that type, and a black African American person has melanin that comes from the sun. So therefore, they were called the light children because they were descendants of the Anunnaki, who know the powers and mystics of the sun and everything that is actually another dimension that we don't have any access to because we're not on that playing field. We're on the earth dimension. We're on this dimension trying to make it to our higher level sense out of this vessel. So it's a lot of things like we really have to learn so we can grow spiritually as a being in a leadership position. If you have no sense of spiritual intelligence, integrity, and morality, so how can you sit there and lead a people when you don't have a sense of spiritual guidance leading you in the first damn place? You have to have some type of spiritual guidance and intelligence, you know, and information before you sit here and try to run a country, a people, or tell someone what is and what isn't history. You have to know the pieces of history yourself. So Excuse me, guys. Sorry, guys. With that being said, I want to thank you all so much for looking at this video. Stay tuned for any other videos I may drop because I'm in a video dropping mood. Like I said, there are healing properties to symbols and frequency. Know what symbols are the right symbols to put in your body. Know what frequency is the right frequency to actually bring around your family. It's basically common sense. You know, don't be so lustful. Don't be hateful as things. Don't chase after money and make that all you're about. Don't live as a materialistic person, but as a spiritual person who's not letting materialistic shit control their happiness. So I want to thank you all so much for tuning into this spiritual video. All I want to say is tranquility, blessings, frequency, light, infinity, love, peace, prosperity, abundance, oneness, elevation, evolution, prosperity, no depression, no suicidal thoughts. We're breaking the barriers, we're elevating, we're uplifting, and we're going to see the next step after step after step. We're climbing the ladder to bigger progress, a larger sanctuary, a bigger understanding of the cosmic world and our cosmic gene. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in to my video. I love doing this. I love giving you these videos. I thank you so much for even tuning in. Even if it's for a short time, please keep tuning in. Like this video. Don't like it, subscribe. Don't subscribe. Check me out again. Who knows? Could be another video tonight. Depends on how everything goes. I got work in the morning. I may drop you guys another one, or I may see you guys some other time. But at the end of the day, remember, no one can stop your elevation. No one can stop your spirit, and no one can stop your time. And your time is now. Be do and make sure whatever you do, you put 110% in it.